welcome to a very special video. I could not be more excited to share with you the time that we were able to spend with Green UK, one of the larger groups of Jets fans over there in the United Kingdom. Now, for those that don't know, they are the official partner and promoter of NickMangold's barbecue sauce. They have all kinds of events going on this weekend for the London game. We're going to get into that, along with how they became Jets fans, how they remain Jets fans through all the tumult of the past decade, and their thoughts on the upcoming game. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Let me present Green UK. But Jeremy, I want to go right ahead and bring on our special guests. We have two members of Green UK, and let's say hello to Ant and Kane. Let's bring them on. Hey, fellas, how are you?
Good, good.
Hi,
hey guys. Great to be on.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you guys on. So the first thing, the Jets are going to play a game in London this week. Are you guys going? Did you get tickets? Ant, I'll ask you first.
Absolutely. I'm heading down tomorrow. We've got a lot planned in for the weekend. We're going to paint London green. And yeah, I'm really, really excited. I go down every year that the NFL's in London. It's really nice to be going again for the Jets. I went in 2015 nice. And we beat the Dolphins.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, we had a Revis interception and Chris Ivory put numbers on that like he's never, ever seen in his life.
That was so good.
It's such a good game. So I'm hoping for the same again this weekend.
Yeah, as am I. So, Kane, are you able to head down there and join Ant at the game?
Yeah, sadly I can't get there till Saturday, but I'll be there partying Saturday, Sunday.
But you'll make it for the game.
Yeah.
Well, good for you guys. So this is New York Jets Worldwide, and there's a little bit more excitement this week because we do have the game in London. But one of the coolest things that we're trying to explore is how the New York Jets really do have a robust fan base around this globe of ours. So I wanted to touch base with you and ask you, how does that happen? Kane, I'll go to you first. How did you become a Jets fan?
Mine's a bit of a silly story, but the first time we actually watched NFL was when I watched the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl, and I hated both teams. And I looked who was their enemies, watched the Jets, loved them from then on.
So it was the Giants.
Just a silly story.
Yeah, well, hey,
sorry.
That's okay. So, Ant, what about you? Did you watch the New York Giants and somehow that was your path into New York Jets?
So mine actually goes back to 1999. And I came to New York on work experience with high school, and I did hospitality and leisure studies. And one of the days they took us to a sports facility. And they didn't tell us what it was. It was just a sports facility. And it turned out it was a green and white scrimmage. So we're walking down to the field, and like literally all I saw was like number 28, Curtis Martin, running through, all the noise and the clatter. And I just looked over, and that was my first exposure to American football. And I was just like, I need to know more. Who is that guy? What is this team? Got back to the hotel, and we got talking, and like it kind of escalated from there. The next day I was at Madison Square Garden, and the tour guide had a Jets hat on. So I got chatting to him. He told me where to start looking, and yeah, it just kind of escalated from there.
Interesting. You know, before Jeremy asks a question, I just want to remind you, another gentleman that we interviewed from the UK said that the football players with their shoulder pads and the big numbers on the chest, they almost seemed like gladiators or superheroes. Did you guys have that experience? Kane, I'll ask you first.
I mean, yeah, it's just a fun sport to watch, I think. Just seeing them fly around the field and giving them big hits. It's just
nice. Yeah. What about you, Ant? So when you saw Curtis Martin Martin, was he like a gladiator running through the tunnel?
Yeah, like off what I can remember, there was like a load of guys holding pads, and literally all you could hear was him coming through, but you heard him before you saw him.
Awesome.
And then you could hear the clatter, the pads, the helmet, and he just came through the other side, and you're like, he did that with ease. Like, it was just, and like, I'm not the biggest guy anyway, and back then I was pretty short, and I was even smaller. So seeing him run through, even though Curtis Martin's not the biggest player, but he was huge, and with all the pads and it was like, yeah, that's it. I mean, I hate rugby. I just can't get into it. But everybody can't get over that. American football, I'm like, nah, it's so much better. It's impact. It's not contact. It's impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like it a little bit more. It's a bit more smash.
Yeah. So Jeremy, I'm sorry. Before you ask your question, we have yet another member from Gangrene UK popping in right now. Let's say hello to Otis. How you doing?
Hi guys.
You good?
Hey,
Very, very good. Thanks. You?
Oh man, I'm in a great mood. I'm just happy to be talking to you guys. So Jeremy, before we go, why don't we find out from Otis, how did you become a Jets fan outside of the United States? We were just going through Kane and Ant stories, but what happened for you? How did this take place?
Started watching through my now wife's family. Had followed a little bit of Reeves's career at Pitt before he got drafted to us. Ended up seeing a lot of Reeves playing on Sundays, and very quickly realised that I really liked the brand of football he played and the way he played football. So the natural choice was to sort of follow Reeves to the Jets, and that whole sort of smash mouth mentality of the Jets defense at that point and the way they played football was something that I loved and really, really sort of got me into things. I loved David Harris as well, along with him, and the sort of way he used to play ball as well.
Reeves. Oh, that was good stuff. So
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you got?
So I'm wondering, okay, so we heard individually how you became Jet fans. Now we would love to know how you guys got together and how UK Gangrene, like how did this group form? What was like kind of the birth of it? And because now it's grown to so many members. I see on Facebook there's just so many of you. So maybe we could start with Ant and just kind of go around and hear how you all got involved in this group.
Well, to be fair, Kane was one of the original founders of the group. I kind of joined a lot later as an admin, and Otis was just before me, I believe. So Kane's probably best to say where it came from, because he was around a little bit longer than I was.
Kane the Prez.
Well, yeah, I'm the OG. Well, Otis and me were admins, and somebody else actually owned the group, and they didn't do much in the group, so we took it over. We was given it, and we've just grown it since then. When we was given it, we had about 150 members, and now we've got 530.
Sheesh.
So we've grown quite a bit in a year. That is.
Yeah, that's impressive. 550 members. I don't know how to even create. I've had ideas of like creating Jets fan groups over the years. I don't even know where to get started, honestly. So that's why I just went out on my own and just made a YouTube page, because I don't have to talk to anybody and deal with anybody else. I don't know what to do. So who was next in the group? Was it Otis or was it Ant after Kane set it all up?
And so Otis was around with Kane at the beginning, and then I came on I've been in the group for a good few years, but then I think it was a little over a year ago, I wanted to get involved in doing something like to help grow the sport in the UK, and then obviously grow the Jets, because that's where my heart lies. And then we kind of we got together about what we wanted to do, like what we wanted to see. And we kind of like divided it up, and we're like, right, well, we'll focus on this, we'll focus on this. So every week we do game reviews, we do chats with ex-players, and we put that content out. But the main thing we wanted to do was just have a space that was for fans by fans. So there was no ulterior motives. There's nobody trying to get rich off it. It's just a group of people who love the Jets, who want to know a little bit more. And we wanted a safe space where you could go in and you could go up to somebody and go, well, actually, I don't really get that rule, or I don't understand why this has happened. And somebody would give you the answer without obviously being a bit mean about it, or what you see on other sites and things like that.
So nobody's using this one to try to find their $1 million idea and squeeze the lemon for all it's worth, huh? This is for fans.
Absolutely. And that's the one thing we've always kept it to. We've always been really clear. We've done giveaways, we've done raffle competitions, and everything has just went perfect because nobody's out to get anybody. It's all about just growing together. Like, we've had messages. We've got members that aren't in the UK. We've got members from Sweden, Germany, France, Spain. Most of the countries in Europe are in our group. We chat with all of them. I've had messages today from Holland, everything about where to go when they get off the plane. It's been amazing. And just that we're all a part of that. I mean, we're all at Otis's for the week 2 game. We all went down to his man cave to watch the game together. So we're slowly now, we're building it up where our Twitter account has grown by nearly 200 followers in 3 days because we started announcing our meetings. And like on Saturday, we've got a fan meet where NickMangold's going to be present doing an autograph signing and launching his barbecue sauce, which is amazing.
Well, I was right. I was going to ask you about that. You guys are like the partners with him over in the UK to kind of promote and bring his barbecue sauce over there, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'll be essentially in the UK market, I'll be brand manager of it.
Wow.
So I work in like brand ambassador work and brand management. So when I seen that Nick wanted to bring it to the UK, I worked with an importer that I work with to bring it in, and then the group are all there to help promote it, taste it, enjoy it. So yeah, it seemed like a crazy thing not to team up with him and do.
I think it's fantastic. Very smart. Otis, is it any good? Did you taste it yet?
It is. It's very, very good. We sneakily bought a couple of bottles to our meetup that we did as an admin group, and all tried it with some pizza and some wings and a few other bits and bobs. And yeah, it was fantastic. We tried both of the ones that Anth and Nick have worked on bringing to the UK, and yeah, both extremely, extremely good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jeremy, I haven't had it yet. It's not around here. Are you able to find it yet? NickMangold's barbecue sauce?
Well, it certainly wasn't available in Sacramento. I haven't had, and it would be very hard for him to break into the North Carolina market where I am right now for the week, being is that this is a barbecue haven where there's so many different sauces. But I'll start checking Amazon because as soon as I can order it, I'll definitely get it shipped out. No question about it.
I got to get on that, right? So you guys have tasted it, you love it, and you're the official promoter of NickMangold's barbecue sauce over in the UK. That's so exciting. Congratulations, guys. Really. I think that's amazing.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
We're excited.
What's been your you talk about meetups. What's the largest one so far? Was there a particular meetup where you had a large amount of the group together in one place?
So the largest one that we'll have is this weekend, because the main time that the group's grown has been through COVID.
I didn't realize a lot of this happened during the pandemic. So this is still fairly new.
So yeah, the group originated in about 2016, I think.
It was about for the first London game. So,
so 2014.
Yeah, when the first London game happened, I was an admin along with, I think, Kane and one other guy. And we had our first sort of meetup on the walkway of Wembley Stadium. And I remember meeting, I think it was 4, maybe 5 group members. And that was the first time we'd done a meetup as such in the group. So to think now that it's come from, I think we've got maybe 115-ish members at that point, all the way through to now is unbelievable. It's changed completely.
Yeah, I think the last count of people saying they were coming on Saturday, I've got it up to about 300-400, which is pretty exciting, but also terrifying at the same time.
That's outrageous, and I can't believe that for you to accomplish that, and that there's going to be that many people getting together is just so exciting. I don't even know in the U.S. and New York if groups that large are able to assemble like that. So it's quite the accomplishment, and we would not have been really honoring and taking advantage of our time with you guys if we didn't give you the true Green Bean experience, which means he has to freeze at least once and get kicked off and have to sign back in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. It's one of those things, you know. I travel around the country. I live in an RV with my family, and I travel around, so I'm always at the behest of whatever internet Wi-Fi service of where I am. I've been good, but at least once a day, it's gonna kick me off. So I do apologize, but at least you guys were able to stay. I got worried that I shut you all out, so that's the thing. So I don't know where you left off. It sounded like you were talking about the group, but I do want to take some of this time and ask you guys, how does one who is, I would say a little bit of an exceptional example of a Jets fan, how do you guys stay engaged with the Jets when they're as good as we've been for the last few years? How does it happen? Do you find that membership wanes a little bit, or are you guys just as passionate during the losing times as you are during the winning times whenever they should be? Otis, you can go first.
We seem to do very well at all times. I think there's something that is a pretty well-known fact about British people, and that is that we love to moan. So even during the losing times, the page is busy because there's plenty of people telling us about what isn't right with the Jets. And let's face it, there's been quite a bit just recently between general managers, head coaches, players. There's been a lot of not rights. So yeah, it stays busy, and of course the growth is fantastic and is paired, I suppose, in some ways with the optimism around what is happening with the franchise at the moment. However, we don't ever seem to have struggled. The Jets fans that are here in the UK seem to be extremely loyal to the club and seem to be happy to slog it out with the rest of us with the bad times, and are all hoping that we're going to hit our coach and quarterback combo that are going to give us the future.
Oh, that'd be good. Kane, have you found your passion for the team maybe taken a dip throughout all this baloney we've gone through over the past couple of years?
I've been watching from, I think, the Geno days, so I was hopeful when we drafted Geno, so if I can be hopeful then, I can be hopeful now. I always stay positive.
That's great. I like how Otis put that, though. He said, in your country, people like to moan. I think that's part of the thrill for New Yorkers, too. We love to complain up there. So this just gives us everything we want. We can complain and moan and bitch as much as we want. So, Ant, same question to you. Have you found it difficult throughout the past couple of years, or are you like Kane and Otis where, nope, this is fine, you can stay engaged?
So I'm one of those Jets fans that's always optimistic on the team. Doesn't matter what's happening. It's all good. Something good will come out of it. So sometimes I feel like I'm the only one positive. The negative does get me down a little bit, but not from the team, from the fan base. I mean, I even had it the other night on a game thread where somebody complained saying the Jets were playing awful, and I was like, they're not. It was one bad play. The game was good. We played well. Like, it's just, yeah, the only thing that I've found hard is that some fans are really in it just to moan, but it's all good all the time. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
I got to hang out with him more, Jeremy. I hang out. It seems like all my live streams, I'm just trying to keep people's head above water the whole time. They're just, we suck again. Like, that's all it is. So, and I got to hang out with you more. Maybe I could feel better about myself. I'm exhausted at the end of the day.
I'm like a Jets fan self-help book.
Right. That's awesome. You and I are very cut from the same cloth. I try to be positive. It's not always easy.
I can't believe how quickly when something goes wrong, it'll be like, this is the Gase Jets, or if Zach does something, if Zach has a negative play, we should have kept Sam. You know, it's just like we have to like constantly remind people he's played 4 NFL games. And if you could look at every great quarterback in the history of football, they've all struggled, or so many of them have struggled, you know, for a lot longer than 4 games. And you can't sit there and make these quick judgments.
And especially based on some of the stuff that's gone wrong for him. We were talking about it in the last game chat that we did about the number of interceptions that he's had that haven't all been on him. You know, last game, Corey Davis slips out of his break. If he doesn't slip, he's on time to the spot where the ball is, and he takes the ball and it's first down. The 2 that come out of his hands, the one against the Patriots, there's one at Carolina, you know, okay, there is growing pains on Zach, but there's also a whole offense here that's gelling. You know, it's the first time New York's had a number 1 wide receiver in the Jets uniform for a long time. Davis looks like he is legit, but he's getting used to a new quarterback. The ball comes out differently to Tannehill. There's different timings, there's different velocities. It's all gelling for everyone, isn't it?
Right. You know, it's interesting because Zach literally had, well, our team, the most drops in the NFL, and at least 2 of them were interceptions. So that's a really good point. You know, they said that his quarterback, his completion percentage was 54 going into the Titans game. If just the passes that hit the wide receiver's hands were caught, he was at over 70%. So just that alone. So you're so right, Otis. I mean, it's really, it looks like we got something here, doesn't it? So let's talk about that a little bit. How do you feel about the win? Are you guys excited? What do you think? Do you think it wasn't that impressive of a victory like so many people are telling me, or are we good? What do you think, Kane? Are we in a good spot? Is this something we can build off of here?
I mean, it's big improvement from the game before. The defense looks really good. Zach looked good how he just directed the offense. He seemed a lot more vocal last game as well. So it looks like big improvements. The O-line played better all around, really. Everything just clicked after the first quarter.
Yeah. We got nervous there, didn't we? So what do you think, Ant? Are you happy about this victory?
So, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying about a lot of people saying, oh, well, the Titans were missing their 2 wide receivers. And I call bull on that because it doesn't matter. In the NFL, you can only beat what's in front of you.
That's right.
And when you look at how many players come from college that make the NFL, even the worst player in the NFL is one of the best players in college. So these guys are elite. So whoever's coming in 3rd string is still a really good player. I don't care. So no, I'm not taking anything away from the Jets. I think they played the Titans at their own game, allowed them to do it, and took advantage when they needed to. I think it was a very, very good game plan. I've seen the Titans play twice live, and I've disliked everything about the way they play because they only win because they steal the clock. And we allowed them to take the play, take the clock, but when we had the ball, we made it count, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, I'm all for it. That win was hard worked and deserved. So yeah, I'm good with that.
So what do you think of right, Jeremy? C.J. Mosley and Derrick Henry. Oh, I loved it. Let them try to steal the clock. Lump them up, right, Jeremy?
Oh man, I'll tell you, it's it was another point is that I was talking about earlier in the offseason when Julio became available. There were a lot of Jet fans and there were a lot of content like, should we go after Julio Jones? And one of my big arguments was, we're a team of the future, first of all. And here's a guy that's going to be like in the winter of his career. And the other thing is he was starting to show like his body breaking down, injuries. So that's another reason Tennessee can't really complain and cry, because a lot of us already knew, is he going to be able to stay on the field anyway? So they took that risk when they got him. They knowingly signed a guy who had already been missing games because of a hamstring. And as you get older, that kind of injury does reoccur. It is kind of like a nagging injury. And not to mention, and GreenBean did a video about it. We're missing about 10 starters from when we were in our off season, and you don't hear anybody when we were 0-3 making excuses for us or saying, "Oh, this real," you know, nobody was giving us any leeway at all over it. So why should we give it to them?
That's right. Look at who we got. Mekhi Becton, Jared Davis, Carl Lawson, Vinnie Curry, Marcus May, LaMarcus Joyner, Elijah Moore, and it goes on from there. So I don't want to hear it, right, Ant? I don't want to hear. I call bull on that as well, man. I'm not buying it. And that was a great point Jeremy made too. That was the knock on Julio Jones when we said we don't want him. It's like he's more than likely not going to make it through the season. So that's their own damn fault.
Especially when they let a wide receiver that's as good as Julio and going to put up numbers as big as Julio walk out the door. You know, I was all for singing Julio's praises when he was at the Falcons, and when Davis come up as a free agent, as the guys will attest, I was all for signing Davis. A big part of, I think, the reason that Derrick Henry got so many outside runs was the quality of Davis's run blocking on the outside. Running a zone scheme, wide receiver blocking is huge, and we picked up not just a brilliant route runner now with strong hands, big speed, and big size, also a man that's happy to get involved in the blocking and lay a hit on somebody, which I don't think is very often something you find at wide receiver.
That's such a great point because people undervalue that. It's like one of the things, not to go too far off course here, but when we were contemplating re-signing Robbie Anderson, as much as I like Robbie Anderson, I do. One of the things I had an issue with was the way that he doesn't block very effectively at all. A lot of times he doesn't even barely try. He just kind of goes through the motions. And that's something that the running game absolutely benefits from. When you look at teams that have great wide receiver blocking, it makes all the difference. So now going into this week's game, what do you feel? Do you think, look, you guys are excited. You're going to the game. I know, and I'm not trying to stir up anything one way or the other, but emotions aside, are we winning this game? What do you think? Kane, I could start with you. Are we going to win this one? And maybe give me a little tidbit on why or why not.
I think it'll be close. I do think we'll win it as long as we hold Cordarrelle Patterson in check, because he's been a bit of a nightmare lately. But I think as long as offense click like they did in the last 3 quarters, last game, we should be okay.
Nice, Otis. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm quietly confident about the game. I think that a lot of that for me comes from the improved pass rush from the defense last game. If there's one thing that Matt Ryan doesn't like, it's being put on his ass. And I think that behind that offensive line and with John Franklin Myers and Rankins and Q playing like they are, there's going to be a lot of pressure from the D-line again. That in turn will lead to, I think, a good opportunity for a low-scoring game in terms of the Falcons' offense. I think it's important that we hold them to less than sort of 20 points again if we can. I think once you start getting over 20 points, you're putting a lot on Zach. Whereas if we can keep them under 20 points behind the chains, you can get the running backs involved, and it gives Zach a chance to grow into the game. I think he's more than capable of putting up 30 points again. I don't think the weather's going to be too bad this weekend in London, so he's going to have a good chance to throw the ball. But it's about making sure that we're not behind early in the game again and make sure that we get Matt Ryan off his spot and make sure that he's being hit and hurried.
Oh, I love it. And it would be nice to get a fast start going for one, maybe this week's the week that we come out and get an opening drive score. Anthony, Ant, I don't know why I called you Anthony. My bad. It's because I'm from Northeast New Jersey. Everybody's like, hey.
All good. That is my name. I just showed
is it? Well, good. Then good. See, there you go. Well, I'm not so wrong after all. What do you think? Are you in agreement with your friends, or do you think that the Falcons have a little bit more of an opportunity to beat us? Where do you stand on this one?
So I have a saying, we're not going to lose it. There's so many times that I've watched the Jets where I've went in going, we're going to win this game, and we blew it. Where we're going into this game and I know we're not going to lose it. They might beat us, but we're not going to lose it. We're going to play well. The only way they'll beat us is if, I know it sounds really stupid, but if they put up more points. But the Falcons, they're injury struck almost as badly as we are. They've got some big starters out. And I just look at it and just think, I mean, they could be up by 30 at half time, but it's the Falcons. We could beat them in the 4th. So I just feel like as long as we play our game again and we don't try and change to them, we're not going to lose. but I'm also not comfortable saying we're going to win.
Right.
So as long as we're competitive, I'm happy.
Yeah, I would say I feel the same way. Jeremy, do you agree?
Yeah, I feel it's hard to ever say as a Jets fan, especially the past 10 years, that we're going to win a game and like guarantee it and have any real way to back that up. But the reasons I feel that we can win and I'm feeling good about the game is I think that Zach got really comfortable. I think when it's like, I think he broke through a barrier where he is now feeling it and he's feeling very comfortable. Those first 3 weeks were against very tough defenses. And I think that this is another defense that's not going to create the havoc for our offensive line. So it's going to allow Zach the time and the space to do and work his magic. I also think, and I have a feeling that the running game is going to click this week. I think we're going to take advantage of that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a game where we can effectively run the ball and get a lot more play action. And I really think we can open it up against them and score a lot of points. And every week I hear the same thing. Every week it's, oh, this is the week the Jets defense is really going to be tested. And now they're really going to be exposed. And each week goes by and they continue to play well. So I'm starting to trust their defense. I'm starting to think that that we're going to be able to hold them to a reasonable amount of points. And so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like we can win this game. And not only that, I think we could win it handedly.
Very nicely said. You guys are okay, man. I'm feeling good. I get nervous every now and then, but I tell you, man, I feel similarly. I feel like if we just don't blow it, and I think that was kind of what I was getting from you, Anthony, or Ant. Look at me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but Ant, I was kind of feeling that like it's almost nervous to say we're going to win, but as long as we don't lose it, and if we don't blow this game, if we just come in and play sound football. You don't have to be too crazy on any one side. Just play sound football. I think we are a better team than them right now, and we can beat them. So, and I meant to ask this earlier, but I wanted to get your take. Being so far away from us, I want to see how this news made it over there. What do you guys think of the whole Denzel Mims situation? We had a second-round pick last year. Me personally, I loved him in college. I loved him coming out. I loved that we drafted him. And now he can't make it on the field. So I wanted to get your guys' take on what do you think about that? Is it a big deal or?
I think it's a bit of a difficult one. I think in some respects it's sort of a bit same old Jets, really. They've picked a really talented kid, clearly got huge speed, huge power, and brilliant size for the position. And as we do as all Jets fans, we expect him to walk on water the second he steps on the field. I think that we should be looking at who we've just signed as a perfect example to why that's not necessarily the case, and it doesn't always happen like that. Tennessee have just let a 5th overall pick go because he didn't put up a 1,000-yard season in 4 years. Well, okay, that's fair enough, but he's clearly got the talent. He's clearly got the ability. Just allow him the time to develop. Mims is only a kid still. Davis is 26 now in his first year with us. We've still got his prime years to go. I think it's a little bit same old Jets, getting a little bit itchy feet on a guy that we think should be delivering and potentially isn't. But at the same time, you have to look at the fact that we have a huge wide receiver room with a lot of talented guys. Cole's a good receiver. Elijah Moore's a good receiver. Davis is a good receiver. You've got more that come in. Crowder as well that's there. Right. I don't think it's worth, abandoning ship on Mims at all. Okay, yes, I agree the illnesses aren't ideal. But if he's still feeling lingering effects and still has to put the muscle mass back on, maybe they're just not rushing him and saying, look, kid, we know you're going to be able to play. We know you're going to be okay. Take the year to play what you play. Don't stress too much and make sure that you're ready for year 3. It's a funny one. I think the Jets are so quick to give up on players at times, and particularly as fans, I think we expect so much of them so quickly. I think Mims is another example of somebody that's potentially getting more heat than he necessarily deserves.
I tell you, man, you guys sound like real Jets fans to me. It's a right, don't they, Jeremy? Sometimes I forget that that's possible. I'm genuinely impressed. Not that I thought you weren't, but I'm impressed by the level of knowledge that you guys possess, and the intricacies, the details that you're throwing out there in your descriptions and your answers. So I want to thank you for that. I'm truly I'm delighted. I'm just delighted talking to you guys. I could do it all day. We're just getting started, but I only have you for a few more minutes. Jeremy, did you have another question before I kind of wrap this whole thing up and let them travel to the game?
Yeah, I think by the way, I noticed that, and it might be a bias already, but it feels like that you guys think of things with more of from a like less emotional position. Because when I hear you talking about Mims, it's coming from a very logical, well thought out like process versus the emotion of just being frustrated and angry, but really thinking about it and thinking about, well, he's in his second year. There's a very talented room, and you know, he's developing and learning. He was sick. Maybe he's not 100%. Why risk him if we have so much? Like, it's so much like
it's so good.
A lot of good things coming out of this that maybe can calm us Americans down from our emotions. And I'm just wondering, just real quick, it's always interesting to me, the other football, the real football, you know, what we call soccer. With so many members, I bet a lot of you back different teams. So do you have some kind of code that when you're together talking about the Jets, you kind of leave that other thing out of it so there's no conflict or arguments between between you guys when it comes to the other football?
I think we're quite lucky on it because I don't madly follow any particular soccer team. Where a couple of our other admins and artists, they all follow the same team. So we don't, all we do is wind them up. So it's fine. But because we've got members from everywhere, like, yeah, the football side of things doesn't come into it, really. They'll have a chat about anything major, but then it'll fall back onto the Jets pretty quickly. So it's quite good that way.
Yeah, you guys are lucky because that can get ugly quick, couldn't it?
It can, definitely.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just give you guys an opportunity before I let you go. Well, there are a couple of things that I'm sure you'd like to promote. So whoever wants to speak, give us a little indication of some, places where people can find you, how to join your club, if you want to talk about the NickMangold stuff. And then I'm going to put everything in the description of the video as well, so you guys who are watching can find them. But where can people find you, and what do you have going on?
So we've got, we're meeting up at the Barrow Boy and Banker in London Bridge, which is the Jets official pub for the week. We'll be there from 2 o'clock Friday, probably through till the early hours. Saturday morning, we're at London Cocktail Club in Monument with NickMangold and the barbecue sauce. So that's from 10 till 1. Nick's going to be there for most of it, hoping to get him in a little bit early to do some bartending. Then after that, we're probably going to head back down to the Barrow Boy and Banker. On the evening, we're going to find somewhere for some college football. We'll have to put that onto our Twitter and Gangrene UK on Facebook, which is the group. Then Sunday morning, there's a breakfast meetup at King's Cross area. I think it's O'Neill's, but that's multiple groups, multiple Jets fans from so many different countries and places, doing a takeover of a pub. Then we're going to head to the game, and there's things going on in loads of different pubs. We've got Bill Nick, I think the Elbow, and number 8s as well. There's Jets fans going to all of those. You will catch us around. You will see us. We've got big green flags. We're going all out. I'm not doing the face paint this year.
Oh, no.
Last time. But yeah, it's going to be good.
Dude, that sounds amazing. I'm telling, I want to go so bad. I would love to be there with all the converging Jets fan groups from all over the world, all coming to that one place. I'm envious. I really am. So Otis or Kane, is there anything else that you'd like to promote before we let you guys go?
I think Ant covered most of it for me. We'd love to see you all, or as many as possible, join us on Facebook and join in with the chats. We welcome everyone from everywhere. There's game day threads all the time, which are always exciting. So yeah, just fantastic to be here, and thank you very much for hosting us. And yeah, join us on Twitter and on Facebook. Really, I think that's probably everything covered from Ant, to be fair.
Well, fantastic. Kane, did you want to say anything, buddy?
I was just going to say we've got a YouTube channel as well where we put all our little podcasts on if you want to watch Gangrene UK.
That's awesome. All right, well, guys, so Otis, Kane, and Ant from Gang Green UK, for Jeremy and myself, I want to thank you sincerely for being here. I'm genuinely excited for you guys to be able to do what you're going to do this week. I hope you all remain safe and smart, no trouble. I don't want to hear anything like that, but I hope this is a fantastic weekend where you guys get to cheer on a win from our New York Jets. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will check in with you soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next time.